Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
For example, what our software does, it actually by design prohibits from our AI contacting a homeowner more than 3 times a day, right? So we do that for logical reasons, because if you contact someone, and this is like a general point, more than 3 times a day using the same phone number, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile will probably mark your number as spam within like a couple of moments, right? And so something we do is we have also our own like number health monitoring software. And one of the lessons we learned is to not call people more than 3 times a day. So this is something that's built into our system, right? If you want to contact like the same customer 4 times, we will actually like block the 4th call, right? And this is how we're trying to help the AI being misused. Think about AI not as something that totally replaces people. The human qualities are happy to have on their end because they don't have to do like annoying stuff anymore. And it's something that AI can do.
Today's episode is brought to you by one of our show partners, Upfrog.
Upfrog is the OG when it comes to pricing transparency online. They find system replacement leads through paid ads and have developed an entire system to drive those hard-to-find system replacement opportunities, nurture the leads, and book them into sold systems before your team arrives to help you grow your business.
Hey, I'm Krista with MarketStorm, and we work with home service companies across the country. Quick question. If another HVAC or plumbing company in your area starts influencing homeowners before they ever hit Google, who gets the first call? By the time someone searches plumber near me, they've already been researching the problem. We use AI to detect those early intent signals and put your brand in front of them. So when they do search, your name already feels familiar. Visit marketstorm.ai or text us at 213-575-5448.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a wonderful day. You're listening to or watching the Service Business Master Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tersh Blissett, sitting virtually next to my co-host, Joshua Crouch. And we have Kevin on the show today with leapingai.com. And we're going to talk about AI voice, good, bad, and ugly, about just AI in the trades. And so if you're new to the show, welcome. And we talk a lot about AI and automation in the trades. If you've been here for a while, you know that. We're excited. If you're live streaming this episode, please feel free to ask any questions. My tongue is tied all of a sudden. But yeah, I am super excited to talk to Kevin and get his take on where things are going in our industry. With that being said, welcome to the show, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Josh, what you got to add? I know you're chomping at the bit here.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about speed to lead. And this is, something that I know I post about a lot. I know Tersh and one of our co-founders of PhoneTap has also been posting about a lot. Is just the massive problem of call centers in home improvement, home service businesses. It's really any business. It doesn't even matter if it's in our industry. It's every business. Like I've had a massive 18-month project going on in my backyard and stuff with landscaping and everything else. And getting a hold of these contractors and getting firm deadlines and getting them to answer the phone and getting them to get back to us is literally a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's
like pulling
the
teeth.
Stories I could tell over the last 18 months are absolutely insane. And I'm sure everyone's got stories like this. I've seen people, they call 4 people and like one gets back to them. And I'm like, you spend so much money on marketing and getting your business to show up when someone needs you. And then you just fumble the ball at the goal line. That's the best analogy I can use is like, you get an interception, you get to the goal. You've all seen those highlights. You get to the goal line and like you fumble it out of bounds. And you're like, it's just a waste. But it happens every single day in all these businesses. So I'm super excited to talk about what Kevin's got going on. Kevin, could you just do an introduction on yourself and for people that don't know who you are, who you are?
Sure. I am Kevin from Leaping AI. We do AI voice and AI texting solutions for the trades. I am originally from Germany, grew up in Germany. I studied informatics, computer science. After that, I really wanted to already found something after college, but decided, hey, I actually lacked the business skills to become an entrepreneur. And well, now I know that one could just go for it, right? And become an entrepreneur. But back then I thought I have to get some kind of business education. So I actually joined a consulting company called the Boston Consulting Group. and worked there for 3 years advising CEOs on everything from where to manufacture airplanes to digital strategies for semiconductors.
Nice.
Did that for 3 years. And then at some point I was like, okay, now I have all the business skills. I already have the tech skills from back then. Let me try again at being an entrepreneur. Started this company around 3 years ago. At first in Europe. Unfortunately, the entrepreneurship scene in Europe is way smaller than like in the States. People don't really become entrepreneurs. And so it was really hard for me to get funding. I was like struggling a lot, bootstrapping, used up all the resources I had from my previous job, essentially using money that customers paid us to cover salaries for the next month.
Done that.
And that's when I decided, I gotta come to the US, right? It's where you get funding. And
We have a
that's what I
lot of
did.
money to throw around in this country.
Yeah,
I don't know
too
where it
much.
all comes from, but like
Yeah.
these valuations of the like I don't know if it's Claude or Anthropic or
Anthropic.
OpenAI is the
Yeah.
phrase, another like obscene amount, like more than the GDP of like most countries.
That's
For a
wild.
valuation of one company, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like there's a
And
lot
this
of
was a company
investors
that
here.
didn't like exist like 5 years ago, right? Or something like that. So
That's the craziest thing about
yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I came to the States a year and a half ago, and then it was one thing led to another. Like I did a company accelerator called Y Combinator in
Yep.
San
Wait, with that?
Francisco.
Familiar.
Doing that, it becomes very easy to raise funding. So then we actually did raise funding. Didn't go bankrupt, right? Didn't have to bootstrap anymore. And so this was a year and a half ago. And ever since then, I've been living in San Francisco, trying to grow this company. And yeah, that's the short. Well, it wasn't that short. The kind of short version of my life. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. You know, it's funny. You mentioned like you thought you had to get a business education. I know it's not what we're talking about
Yeah.
today, but business education before you started a company. And I'm grateful that I was in the trades beforehand because I learned a lot of lessons that helped
Yeah.
me with my digital marketing company. But even still, it's funny, like you go through these peaks and valleys where you think you got it, you think you know it, and then you get to the next level and you're like, oh, I got to learn some new skills because I'm not ready for this. And it's like
Yeah.
there's just no perfect moment. And I know a lot of people listen to this because we have technicians or general managers of companies that want to start their own business that listen to this show too. And I think a lot of times we're always waiting for that like perfect moment, but there is no such thing as a perfect moment to do this. It's you do it. Sometimes the best stories, even though it's the most stressful, are when you don't have any money and you're bootstrapping, like you mentioned, because you have no choice. Your back is up against the proverbial wall and it is go time and you got to figure it out. And sometimes the best things happen. Sometimes you fail. But then you learn what not to do next time. And
In
you
my
can get back.
in my line of work, I deal with like a lot of CEOs of these trades businesses, sometimes like 50, 60, 70 million dollar businesses. I'm not sure if this is like just a subjective feel, but I don't think I've met a single CEO who actually went to college or graduate college. So most people, they did high school and then they
Went into the trades.
somehow, got into this industry, and now 20 years later they're like millionaires. I'm like, what did I do wrong in my life? That I'm like
That's
grinding
gonna
the tech scene and yeah, why did I even have a bachelor's degree? Why did I study anything, right? When I could have just
well,
like started my own like HVAC business or window replacement company. Yeah.
it's really funny you mention that because I remember I graduated high school in '03, and at that point, like the whole job market and stuff was all about like you got to go to college, you got to get a degree, you got to have all this stuff. And so I went back and did school, and I spent a lot of money and got a lot of loans, and I
How'd
didn't
that
use
work out
any
for
of
you?
it. I didn't use any of it.
Mm.
Like, I know that's a common thing here in the States, and I think I do think that has changed quite a bit. Like, Tersh has got is Ivy 17? 18?
Yes, he is 17. He'll be 18
Yeah.
in October.
Yeah, so almost
Crazy.
18-year-old. I have one 18-year-old, another my son 18-year-old he's gonna be 18 in July, and they're all looking at trades careers or some variation of the trades: electrical, cars, auto, HVAC, whatever, welding. They've different options open to them, which is really cool to see. And we do some episodes. We just did one recently about hiring and promoting and stuff in the trades and how to do that. But it's an interesting mix because we're getting young people that want to come into the trades, but then we're also getting a lot of tech money, tech support to build advanced automations and make these companies more efficient, at least is from, because it's always been a very labor intensive business. You need a lot of people, a lot of support on the back end in the office to make these businesses run. And then typically the way that these guys make more profit is they have less support on the back end, which causes the problems we're going to talk about today, where we don't answer customers fast enough. We don't answer the phone fast enough. We don't text back. We don't answer form submissions fast enough, or we don't answer after hours or weekends. And it causes a big problem. And there's a lot of waste there. And a lot of that waste we're finding when we have conversations with business owners is they don't even know the gravity of the problem. Once they see the number, like the dollar amount that's potentially lost, it gets their attention really quickly. So why, Kevin, when you decide to start a business, why this? What problem did you see that wanted you to create this sort of company that helps with AI agents for home improvement and home service companies?
So the original impulse to start this business was when I worked in the call center at Amazon as an intern back in college. And I saw that this is a profession, right? So this is detached from the business problem. It's more like being in the weeds, right? This is a profession that's not really fun, where you have super high fluctuation. And this is also when I talk with contractors, also something that they deal with, right? Like fluctuation. It's not a job that, like a call center agent, it's not something that people want to do for 40 years. And so this was my original impulse. I was coming more from, let's say, the bottom up. And now, obviously, when I talk to more decision makers, it's a new set of problems that technology can help solve. So, as you mentioned, you have these leads, but sometimes you don't really reach out fast enough because you don't have that process. Or even though you have that process, people are in the bathroom, they're sick, they're out, right? And then you don't have anyone following up. I'm currently onboarding one contractor here in LA, and they just had another interesting issue where their call center software like had a bug for 1.5 hours. It was just like not routing calls. And so imagine the call center team now not getting leads or any phone calls, right? Which is like an hour and a half of lost productivity and revenue. And think about, what are ways that, let's say, AI could be as a backup, right? To make your entire system not only more efficient, but also more resilient, right? So, but just having more, I would say, team members, whether that's physical or AI digital team members, you're just making the entire system more resilient and more efficient.
What has been the feedback that because obviously you guys work with contractors, and there's good and bad to AI, right? So, and one thing that we like to make sure we point out is, there's good use cases to keep humans on for certain calls, people for certain calls. And there's use cases that maybe shouldn't be, or maybe they could reallocate it because the AI can do as good or better than a human can do. Do you have any sort of insights into what that looks like and what some recommendations would be?
Yes. So the most common fear that we hear in the industry is, okay, we have these super expensive leads, right? We don't want to have something that is not performing according to the human baseline. And so it's decreasing our set rate, right? And it's actually helping us lose money. The rebuttal I have for that is to identify areas of the business that are not optimal right now, right? So if you have, people that are answering every call like in the second, right? That's probably already an optimal setup, and you shouldn't change it. However, are there opportunities, let's say, to call leads faster, right? And try to schedule appointments. And if, let's say, the digital call center agent or the AI is not able to do so, you can still call back as a human, right? Do you perhaps not work on Sundays, right? But want to offer a service that people can book appointments whenever they want to, right? And then you just start by turning Sundays into a productive day, whereas now you're not making any business on Sundays, right? And so these are ways that I would say you can be smart about not losing money, but taking a chance at making more money and seeing if it works. And then if it works, you can expand into other things. Regarding your point about what the AI and the human is like, where they're different, I would say AI is really good where things are really predictable and where you have a clear let's say, flow of things, right? So the typical case that we do is appointment setting. And so this is a very predictable flow of questions and informations you have to gather from the customer to be able to set up the appointment. It's like 3, 4, 5 minute conversation. And in a funny way, a lot of, especially larger companies that we speak to, they have problems that the call center agents is not necessarily following these instructions, right? So you would think that, hey, a human should be like way better than the AI because they have this instruction in front of them. But let's say you've been 3, 4 months in the job, you might start to skip some questions because you think that you're doing stuff from muscle memory, right? And not according to the script. And so in a way, that's where some humans even tap below the baseline, right? And you think you have the baseline, but actually you don't. And so this is where you could think about AI always following that baseline, right? Because it's like a machine, like it follows that script. And so those are really good use cases for the AI.
You mentioned that some humans are going to use like muscle memory, or like they're just going to do it because they like it's. So whenever we talk about building out processes and procedures in a business, a lot of times the person that builds the process they skip a lot of steps because they don't realize that they're doing it from muscle memory. So what we teach people to do is for them to write down the process or verbalize the process and have some transcription service transcribe the process and then hand it off to someone else. Have them perform the process and figure out where you messed up because you forgot to add a step because you're doing it by muscle memory. How would you solve that problem?
I think the only way to solve that problem is to have a really good process where you make sure that people always follow it, but then you have like a second line, which is essentially monitoring, right? So you transcribe the calls and then you make sure that like these steps are always followed. Maybe you can even use AI to like, just make an example, like just get all of last month's recording, you upload them into some AI and you ask it, right? Like surface me what percentage of calls followed this process and give me examples where it didn't, and maybe highlight, okay, this sounds a little bit dystopian, but maybe highlight certain reps or groups of reps that most frequently did not follow this process and like why they don't do it, so that you can then take that as an action item and address it with those people.
It's funny you mentioned that because that's literally almost exactly what Phone Tap does.
I was just gonna say, or you can just purchase Phone Tap. That'd be great.
Yeah, just use Phone Tap.
Because that's the problem that we were running into, like as a business owner, or manager or CSR manager. Like if you have 15 CSRs, I'm not saying that a lot of companies do. If you have 3 CSRs, you can't go back and listen to every single one of their calls all day long manually. Not only most people don't want to do it. I personally cannot stand listening to phone calls. But it's the first impression that a lot of people have of your business. And so it's a very important role that we oftentimes under inspect, under teach, and then all of a sudden we don't even train them properly half the time, and then we get mad at them because they're not following the process. But we only catch it whenever
the process isn't
complains.
really fully dialed in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of ironic when you think about how you laid that out. It's like, yeah, we're not really doing a good job setting these people up for success, and then we don't understand why our business isn't growing more. And then what do? They turn to marketing companies, I need more leads. That's my favorite.
Yeah, can I add something on that? So
yeah, of course.
First of all, of course, if you're not using Phone Tap, you should.
Good job, Kevin. Your check's in the mail.
The reason that this has so far been unsolved problem is because of big data, right? Like you're generating all these phone calls, and this could be abstracted to any other activity in your business, right? You're generating all this data, you're generating all this activity, and there's no way for you to analyze this without spending 2 hours of your precious time every day to like go into the weeds and like pull together some data. But this is literally solved by large language models, right? So what we have done as an example, so in my business, I, as the business owner, have to track how many appointments our software is helping to schedule for each of our clients, right? Previously, this was like also a pretty intractable problem. I have to go into the deployments, like manually count how many appointments happened, and then try to make sense of that, right? What I now have is I connected our database with Claude from Anthropic, right, via an MCP. And what I did is to set up like a scheduled run where every Sunday, right, when I'm spending time with my wife, I have Claude go through all the different metrics for all customers, let's say all the transcripts, all the calls, right? And then have it analyze and pull together how many appointments we scheduled for them and put them on a per customer per week basis. So I see like the trending numbers from the last 2 weeks. And this is like a report that I can get every single Sunday in my email inbox. And then even before the week starts, I can like tag the relevant people to fix certain things if I notice things are wrong. And so let's say you're not using phone tap, right? What you could do is you could actually connect your, let's say, call center software to something like Claude or another LLM and have it perform this analysis in a structured way every couple of days and send you a report with the insights. And the best thing about it is, unlike previously, you don't need a team of software engineers to execute this. Instead, you could have essentially just like a textual description of this and essentially just what we call vibe code, right? And just
exactly.
Just type in English what you need and the AI will just do it.
Well, and there's so many use cases of that too, because obviously like calls is one, but think about it from a, Tersh and I were brought up on we were in the same coaching program when I was still in the trades, and they taught us about scorecards and laying them all out and all stuff. Of course, you had to manually get all these numbers, or you had to trust the numbers inside of your CRM, which we know from just deep diving into CRM data, most of it's not accurate. Even the companies that try the hardest and have the most people trying to manage, it's just not fully accurate, or they don't understand how these numbers play across different departments and stuff. But being able to build those scorecards and know how your team is doing, who's converting the best, who's had, looking at that information, analyzing your P&L on a weekly basis, analyzing material costs and invoices and just things, because one of the easiest ways of theft in the trades is someone goes and gets a couple parts and maybe there's one or two more added on. That one or two goes on the company account and gets put in their personal vehicle for side jobs. Just things like that you can pay attention to. Be like, hey, why did we buy 5 of these when we only needed 3 to restock? And you can get these things.
Yeah.
You can run a tighter ship without having to be guessing or just maybe ghostly blaming someone, where it's like you don't really know, but you think they're stealing, and having those weird conversations. You can actually know, have some proof. And it's not the only use case, but as you guys are listening to this and hearing like, oh, I can connect this, because Tersh and I really haven't gone and done much content around this, because a lot of people don't even like, we talked about Zapier for years and most people was like, it's way over their head. And we're like, okay, let's back up to like the basic level stuff. And now you throw MCP servers and all these
AI.
I don't even like, they're still like, don't understand workflows and how to make workflows happen, because they don't have systemized processes like Tersh mentioned earlier. And that's why it's so crucial in the beginning to have a systemized, written down process of how these things should get done, because then that becomes the gateway to build things that can automate the outcomes or the outputs or the, whatever you want to analyze. But it is absolutely wild what can be analyzed and be done at a very high level very quickly, to the point where we're probably all going to be spending more money on AI tokens and tools soon. Probably by 2030, we'll be spending more money on that than we will on wages, because it does analyze things and you can get so much data so quickly. But it also can be very overwhelming because the responses are all a book and then you have to read through it. And sometimes that doesn't work out so well, but there's so many opportunities to better understand your business. And so people listening to this, like, start watching YouTube videos of what's MCP server, how to do these sorts of things as you hear them, because the value is so immense and you're going to learn a lot. You're going to be confused by a lot, but the only way to, just like Kevin, you mentioned getting into a business and thought you had to go to school. The best way to learn is to jump in.
Hello, home service professionals. Do you want to maximize your marketing budget? Then you need to be using call tracking from CallRail. Let's say you've
you noticed a spike in new leads this month. To find out what's driving them, you just log into your CallRail dashboard. Is my new Facebook ad outperforming my other ads? Or is paid search knocking it out of the park? Or maybe it's time to retire those newspaper ads. Since CallRail assigns a unique phone number to each of my marketing efforts, I know where my best leads come from and which efforts to scrap. CallRail shows you your most cost-effective marketing channels so you can get back to business. Go to callrail.com/SBMpod and try it for free.
Quick question. How many calls did you miss last month? Not how many you answered, how many did you miss? Across the home services industry, about 30% of inbound calls go unanswered. And those aren't just tire kickers, those are customers ready to give their business to whoever books first. Breezy fixes that with AI agents that answer every call, they book the jobs for you, and they follow up instantly. So instead of waking up to missed calls, wake up to booked jobs. If you want to see how many jobs you're losing right now, go to getbreezyapp.com, use code SBM, and they'll give you $500 towards Breezy on us. Now back to the episode.
I would like to add, so first of all, having a process and a vision and an idea is absolutely important. I'm 99% sure you guys know this, but there's this like great book called EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System, of how to run your company. So people should read that. But what it talks about is how do you detach yourself as the business owner from the business, right? Where it's not you doing all the work, because that's how you don't scale, but essentially how you put the right people in the right place and then have them cook. But then you as a business owner, you're the capital allocator. And of course, you're the ultimate monitoring instance. And AI can do a lot of the monitoring. The reason why CRMs or something are not accurate is because you have to do data entry, right? So let's say a call happens, I have to enter data somewhere, maybe I forget to do it. But with AI, it's the first time where you can have something go straight to the source. You can literally connect it to your accounting software, to your banking software, right? To your call software, to let's say your meeting recorders, to your sales software, right? And then have it directly sift through that big data without like any software in between. And I would also challenge the fact that you have to inform yourself what an MCP is. In fact, forget about like that term MCP. Just go to Claude Cowork or the chatbot or Claude Code. Forget the word code that and the anxieties that cause. Just open it. It's like a text box where you can like type English, right? Forget the word code and just let it know what you need in English. Again, forgetting the word code. And then it will tell you, like the AI will like guide you what you need to do to be able to get certain business outcomes. And if anybody thinks, oh, there was actually code involved or it's like too hard, send me an email. But if not, like I promise you that it's actually just using English to describe business outcomes and results that you need. And the AI will guide you and perform all the steps so that you can get set up, and it will let you know what you have to do. And then you will just give it the right permissions to give it access to the right systems.
I think that's the biggest thing that people get confused with Claude Code and Cowork is they assume that if you don't know how to code, then you can't use it. And that's not the case. Literally, you just ask it, hey, ask me 20 questions that pertain to X, Y, and Z topic that I need you to help me with. And so then it creates a full repository of information that based off the answers that you gave it. I think that's a common misconception that people have. And you're exactly right though. Just get started. Just start asking it questions and let it ask you questions and kind of go from there. I think that's how most of us got started with it.
I do that with content all the time, like because it can come up with ideas and outlines and stuff, but I don't ever. It's a personal thing. Some people will probably be fine just throwing some AI stuff out. I like giving it context. So I like it asking me questions first. I always want it to be in my voice or my thoughts or whatever before I post something. AI can help me write it and format it and put it in a way that it gets from A to Z. So it actually like makes sense instead of like bouncing all over the place. But have it needs that experience that we have as entrepreneurs, business leaders, content creators, to create something that's really actually going to produce well. And I think sometimes it's like, oh, this can create a I'll use blog for me. Cool. Blog post done. Like, it's just like, it's a checkbox item, but the problem is the blog is really generic. It doesn't have any real insights, real human connection pieces. Doesn't have a story. to bridge it together. And I think that's sometimes the missing piece is like we look at it as, oh, we can do more. So let's just keep boom, boom. Let's just keep getting stuff out the door, especially when people start becoming power users of this stuff. But it starts losing, I think, some of the value and some of the stuff that people actually want to pay attention to. And we just like, because we can do it now, we do it instead of, is it solving a problem in our business? And if not, why are we focused on it? Why are we just wasting time on something that can, oh, it's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are cool, but I mean, is it producing
It's shiny
revenue?
object.
Is it saving on the bottom line? Is it doing something that's going to move your business forward? Or are you just wasting your time building some cool shit that you think is cool?
I mean,
And I think
sometimes that's cool doing that too.
Well, I mean, yeah. So Kevin, you don't know this. Tersh built this through Zapier, and I don't have access to it, but I get a daily dad joke every day. And he also posts it to Facebook. And we literally had someone earlier this morning. We were having a partnership conversation, and he said it brightens my day to see that in my feed. So you can automate some really dumb shit too.
Yeah.
But it can be fun, so there's a give and take, and some of that stuff is cool for just, personal playtime. But if as far as business application, what you're talking about, like analyzing and connecting your data sources and stuff, ask yourself, what's the problem that I'm trying to solve? So you can actually stay on topic, because you can get distracted very easily with all these fancy tools because it's endless use cases.
Kevin, where do you see AI voice and AI text messaging in the near future?
Yes. So I think the way I see it is that in the future, this will be very important team member, right? For most like mid-sized, larger contracting businesses, because it just helps to solve some of these pain points in a better way. The way we currently have our product is that we have these AI voice agents that can, take calls, right? Can do 100 parallel calls, can also dial leads within 7 seconds of them coming in. And then if we have, a voice call and somebody doesn't pick up, we send them like a text message, and then they can, in a conversational way, schedule an appointment. What we currently don't have that we're working towards is something where you can create automated campaigns. So let's say, given a lead, you can say, hey, call them, let's say, 8 times on day 1, send 1 text message. On day 2, call them 3 times, send 1 text message. And then so forth, for the next 30 days. Because sometimes you don't really book an appointment with someone, especially for some businesses, right? Like I don't know, roofing, until day 45. So you actually want to have something that can continuously follow up with customers. And so this is something that, let's say, humans can also do. It's like pretty annoying, right? To call someone for the 10th time. But AI doesn't really care. It like just places a call. And then if you reach someone, it actually schedules an appointment or creates a warm transfer for the human team. So think about AI not as something that totally replaces people, but as something that can do really boring stuff, but that you should or want to have done. And in a way, it should be something that after 6 months, like the human colleagues are happy to have on their end, because they don't have to do like annoying stuff anymore. And it's something that AI can do.
Do you think that people using AI voice for outbounding for nefarious reasons, annoying reasons, is going to put limitations on AI voice?
Yes, for sure, right? So you have, people doing prank calls. The advantage of AI is that you can, do 100,000 dials per day, for rehash campaigns or to existing leads. But of course, it also leads to the fact that now you have just way more calls being placed in the country, which is why we have something like a DNC database, right? If someone tells us one time that, like, do not call me again, then we put them in our internal database. It's not something external. Like we have that internally. And then the next time one of our clients tries to call them using our technology, we'll actually block that call, right? So can we prevent someone being called 30 times over 30 days? No, it's more of a feature than a bug, because humans do that too. But if someone says like one time, like, do not call me again, we will actually like respect that and not call them again.
So are you facing the same dilemma that I'm facing, and I know Josh is too, where you get I don't know, 15, 30 AI phone calls a day for what is it? Financing, underwriting. They
Loan,
send like,
underwriting.
yeah,
This is
like
this is
you've
this
been
is
approved
Melissa
for
from the underwriting
$35,000.
department. I'm like, underwriting of who? Put your company name in there.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same thing every time,
Every time I
and
get this, I'm like, did I accidentally sign up for some loan thing or something? Like, how do I even
no,
get this on this list?
have no
That and my
idea.
Google profile is definitely screwed up. Good
So
thing I
that's
know a guy.
where like the responsible use of AI comes in. So the businesses we like to work with are those that just receive the lead on their own website, for example, or on like a Facebook ad or a Google ad. And then those customers are actively interested and waiting on a call, like Josh described in the beginning. And so those are cases where AI is not really selling anything, but it's like scheduling an appointment, right? And we're like not trying to be too pushy. And businesses that just want to spam customers are usually those that we also don't work with. Let's say where leads don't even know that they're like interested, let's say in landscaping or window
Uh-huh.
replacement or roofing or kitchen refacing, right? And those are cases where also your success rate with AI, as with humans, is like super, super low. So
Yeah,
ideally, you use AI in a responsible fashion. You make sure that people are consenting. You only contact those that are interested, and then AI is like a superpower, and you don't misuse it for
do you think?
contacting people that don't know that you as a business even like
Yeah,
exist or yeah.
do you think that people that are doing this are going to ultimately cause issues with the rest of the industry? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
you annoy the
Uh,
right person or the wrong person, and then all of a sudden they're putting up legislation to ban AI outbound calling or something like that.
yeah, hopefully not, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the parallel you could draw is like the crypto industry where you have some guys that are, even for other reasons like embezzling money and stuff, or funneling money into other business, and this just puts a dent on the entire industry. And so, it does, it should be the case that most businesses are using it in a responsible way, and those that are using it in non-responsible ways, it reflects less on AI, hopefully, than on their business practices and
Oh, for
their
sure. Yeah.
attitudes. And I would hypothesize that those guys, they also are maybe a little bit fishy in other ways, right? Like it's probably not AI is probably not the first time they're doing some fishy stuff,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Like they're,
yeah.
they're probably
No,
doing
absolutely.
some
Yeah,
fishy stuff on the side, and hopefully it
absolutely.
reflects less on AI than like how they're using it.
Absolutely. No, I agree that like if you actually tried if you gave those people your social security number, you're asking for it because like if they're
Yeah.
already doing this nefarious behavior up front, like they're
Oh
not
yeah.
gonna be the most trustworthy people.
But there's like something that people in the ecosystem can do, right? So, for example, what our software does, it actually by design prohibits from our AI contacting a homeowner more than 3 times a day, right? So we do that for logical reasons because if you contact someone, and this is like a general point, more than 3 times a day using the same phone number, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile will probably mark your number as spam within like
Oh.
a couple of moments, right? And so something we do is we have also our own like number health monitoring software. And one of the lessons we learned is to not call people more than 3 times a day. So this is something that's built into our system, right? If you want to contact like the same customer 4 times, we will actually like block the fourth call, right? And this is how we're trying to help the AI being misused. The original reason that this was even a problem is way more benign in that in the past we did call people like 6 times. Why? Because the same lead, the same phone number was in the CRM like 2 or 3 times, right? Yet the same phone number being like 3 times in the CRM, it's like the same person, but like maybe with different address or like the first name spelled slightly incorrectly. And so this is more a problem of CRM data integrity than like AI. But of course, we're trying to pull all this data from the CRM, right? And we got the same number like 3 times. And then if we call each person like 2 times, then of course you call them like 6 times. But this is where people like us, people like other people, we can build workarounds, right? Like blocking the same number, deduplicating and stuff. And so there are definitely ways that
Deduplication
I
of
also
data and CRMs would be a really,
Oh,
really good
yeah.
use case. That in like,
yeah.
you know, there was a time, the last HVAC company I worked for, we had, because for one reason, we would always, the way we started putting names in was like first name, last name. And then we changed it
Yeah.
because QuickBooks and some reason with QuickBooks and stuff, we did last name, comma, first name. Well, now you got like, when you try to export a list to maybe go do an email marketing campaign or something, you got like, you can't use merge tags because it's a mess of data. You got last names, and then you got the ampersand if there's two first names for the husband and wife. And it's just, we do this all the time for clients of ours. We pull lists for, you know, outbounding to get tune-ups and inspections and get back in our customer's house. And we had to literally build an entire agent that fix it with all of the little use cases to fix these lists, because it sucks to fix. And people don't even realize, like, can't you just pull a list and send the text message? Yeah, you could, but then you're going to get like, hey, Blissett, or hey, Woo, you know, your last name, instead of hey, Kevin. And then it's like, well, it's clearly an automation that's not working well, and you're not going to get a response rate, and you're going to blow through your list. They're all going to say stop or unsubscribe, and then you're going to hurt yourself with the carriers. And the
So maybe what I'm
effort
about to say now sounds like Silicon Valley, right? And someone from, I don't know, like Georgia, in the middle of Georgia, where I'm sometimes like, what the fuck is this guy talking about, right? But let me just say it none the ways.
I say it every
try
time.
to see if we can
I
solve
have
this
no idea what he's saying
problem.
half the time.
Yeah, try to solve this problem with AI and see if it works, right? Like try for 1 hour. Like go into Claude, connect it, let's say, to your HubSpot or whatever CRM, and say, figure out every single customer that is in there with like the same phone number. Like anytime you see the same phone number like twice, give me all those instances. Step number 1, right? See if that works. Then merge the data in some way, right? Like figure out why that's the case. Maybe you have like Facebook leads and like from a third party vendor, right? It's like the same guy, like they just got entered 2 times, and like try to merge it, and then give AI maybe permission to perform this act for like 5 leads to see if it can work, and then actually clean your entire CRM with AI. And maybe it sounds like crazy Silicon Valley to most or some people here. Just give it a shot, and like if it works, it could be like
It
not
could be a
Silicon
game
Valley,
changer.
right? It's a huge benefit to
Yeah.
your business wherever you are, and thank me later.
I
You know,
think
it's,
that's it.
just give it a shot.
Honestly,
If it works. Yeah.
I agree 100%. And it's those things that like we as business owners complain about. It's like, oh, we have to do this again. It's such a monotonous task. Like as soon as you think that thought, immediately say, can I use AI to do this task? And 9 times out of 10, I'd say, yeah, you probably can. I will tell you, Claude cannot access Stripe using Chrome, the Chrome extension. That's one thing that like I've tried having it like organize and fix some Stripe issues, and it's like, sorry, we can't access that.
Okay, I'm gonna use the 3 forbidden words again, MCP. But again, like forget that I said that, but just go on Cloud Code, say connect it to Stripe, and see if it works. Like I have Stripe
That's a good
connected, so
point.
I can
Yeah.
build automated like customer success dashboards. Like, hey, this customer is late on a payment, right?
Ooh,
Maybe even send that
nice.
customer an email via Claude, you know, like, hey, you're late. Do it as a scheduled run, you know, every 2 days to make sure you're getting paid, and not have customers that are late on invoices.
That's a great idea, because I mean, even like using it not necessarily from Stripe, but like if you have Service Titan or House Call Pro or Breezy or any of these FSMs or CRMs, and you want to stay on top of people who I mean, you can't have an extended accounts receivable account like and stay in business for too long. So
And just try it for, you know, 30 minutes. Go on Claude, like download it. If it doesn't work, let's go back to doing the normal Sunday activities, you know, spending time with kids. Just try for 30 minutes. The worst case scenario doesn't work, like, okay, fair enough, spending time with my kids again. The best case is it does work, and then you're getting paid earlier, right? And you have more money in your bank account, and then like you can't stop. Then you want to automate more things and get
then
like
you get
just
addicted
make
to
your
it.
business even more efficient. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's how the podcast originally got started. Like we're just getting addicted to automating things as much as possible,
Yeah.
and then we started sharing about it. But yeah, no, I agree 100%. Kevin, I really value everything that we've talked about here. I do want to ask you, Josh, you may remember the answer to this, but what do you call a cheese that's not yours?
I know the answer.
What do you think it is, Kevin?
I don't know. I need Josh to help me out.
It's nacho cheese. That was the dad
That's
joke
good.
this morning.
a good
Because
one.
it was a podcast recording day, I made sure I like fully read this one. I'm like, Tersh asked me at some point.
Yeah. It's a good one. I'm gonna use it at the bar
I
tonight.
wasn't kidding when I said he automated it. Like literally every single day, even the weekends. Like he's
Yeah.
Yeah, you get them. Yeah, Kevin, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Josh, is there anything else you want to ask? Kevin, is there anything you want to add?
All good. Really fun.
What's the best place for people to reach out to you, Kevin?
It's on our website, right? They can reach out. We have a form submission. They can play around with AI, get some more information. And yeah, just on our website, leapingai.com.
Cool, man. We appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to Kevin. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful and safe weekend until we talk again next time. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusinessmastery.com to learn more.